everybody. Thank you for coming on this cold day. We appreciate it. We're going to rise now for the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you like to lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now we'd like to take a moment of silence to remember our Yorktown veterans, our first responders, and all who do this wonderful work because they love this town. So let's have a moment of silence for them. Okay. I'd like to introduce our members. We have Jenny Menton, our vice chair.
Hello.
Barbara Leifels, not here today. Darrell, our secretary.
She left. She had to
She
leave.
left. Something about her cat. Serafina Mastro. Francis McVetti.
Thank you.
Winston is in the hospital or in rehab. And Deborah Marks, our liaison to Matt Slater, is here. I would also like to recognize a few people who, Matt Slater, our assemblyman, has popped in. Hi, assemblyman, how are you? I'd like to mention a few people that are not officially part of this committee. However, we could not function without them. First, incredible cooperation from our town clerk, Diana Quast.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Joe Falcone, our liaison to Parks and Rec.
Hey.
Noreen O'Driscoll, who is does senior services. And I have to tell you, Noreen, I think of you every time I see that truck arrive with food for one of our elders. It's just a wonderful program, wonderful program. Some of those people have not been out for a long time, and that's really their source of nutrition. Thank you very much. Jim Moderano, Jim Moderano Jr.
Joe Falcone.
Did I forget anybody?
Joe Falcone.
I said Joe Falcone. Okay, I said Joe. I would never forget Joe Falcone.
Ed Lochterman is here. Ed Lochterman,
Yes, we're going to be
supervisor.
introduced.
There you go. Okay.
All right.
Got who he was.
Now, first person we will introduce to speak. Let me bring Matt Slater. Where's Matt? Where did he disappear to?
He's there.
Go.
Do it with Ed, maybe Ed.
They're going to go together.
Cut down on time. Do you mind if we come up together?
Sure, why not? Our supervisor, Ed Lochterman, for those of you who don't know. No fighting.
No fighting. We don't fight. So I wanted to give a quick recap on the town today, but it's a new year. There's not a lot happening to start. There is one thing that we should have mentioned, a little prayer for the end to the Hamas-Israeli conflict right now, and the releasing of the hostages, which is a real important thing. Yeah, no, it is on a level, and
Wonderful.
it's a best case scenario right now, but I don't think it's a true end of this, and as we've seen over the years. So I do,
Fortunately.
I do pray that that the rest of the Arab world comes together in the recognition of Israel and see how we move forward there. But this week I had heard some news that is wonderful on one end and is hits you a little bit on the other end. And this meeting will be the last one that our current chair chairs. Rosemary Panio will be stepping down. So I, of course, spoke with Matt, and we both wanted to honor, but I did get a text message from George Latimer, who wishes you luck, also from Mike Lawler's office, and I have not heard from Ken yet, which he's been running around a little bit, but
Yeah.
we did notify.
Wonderful person. He was our guest last month.
Yes, he was. So,
Speaker.
so I'm sure you'll be hearing from Ken because we
Yes.
did notify him as well. Dana and Pete we notified. So, but from a town point of view, I do have, and this is where you know it's important. We sprang for the frame.
It's about time.
Right. Well, that has to be very special. So, honoring Rosemary Panio on Friday, January 17th, 2025, whereas Rosemary Panio has dedicated many years of exemplary service to the town of Yorktown, consistently demonstrating unwavering commitment and dedication to the betterment of our community through her work as chairman of the Senior Advisory Committee, and whereas on this occasion it is fitting to pause and reflect in appreciation of Rosemary's contributions to the town of Yorktown, most importantly to our senior citizens, and whereas the town of Yorktown values the many contributions she made to our community wherever the needs exist, making her presence felt for their own good and that of others, and this proclamation is presented to Rosemary to serve as a reminder that she will always be a valuable person in our community, and wish her well on her future endeavors as she concludes this chapter of her life as a chairperson of the Senior Advisory Committee. And now, therefore, I, Edward A. Lachterman, Supervisor of the Town of Yorktown, and on behalf of our Town Board and the citizens of Yorktown, do hereby present this proclamation to Rosemary Panio as a testimony to her dedication to have touched so many lives.
Thank you, Ed.
So, before yes. So, you know, and just the one thing that I will expand upon as we pause and reflect. I remember joining the council and having the honor of being the liaison for the senior advisory. And to just know how much, God bless, how much focus and how much policy per se and what we look at on an everyday basis from Rosemary and from the Senior Advisory Committee. One of the big things that had been a stress at my first time meeting with the committee has been the need for places where seniors could go to either size down or get away from having to do the daily chores that are involved in home ownership. And it has been very instrumental in my thought process when projects come to town, especially regarding 55 and over senior housing, and knowing what we can do to help, because it's something you don't really, well, now at my age, I can't say at my age, but it's something at that age when I was not on the north side of 50 and actually 60 this year, you didn't really think about 10 years ago. I wasn't thinking about that. So Rosemary helped to shape and hone my thought process and the things that we look at on a daily basis, and I know that she's had that effect on many people in the town. And I just wanted to share that as it's one of my deepest reflections
Thank you, Ed.
of everything you've done.
Appreciate it. Thank
So
you.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Can you wait?
Why
Can you
don't
wait?
doesn't he go behind her or something, no?
You want to go? Matt, you?
Let Matt go and then.
And then we'll do a group picture.
Okay.
Thank you, Ed.
Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's always great to be home in Yorktown. You know, I got an email that was sprung on me about the importance of today's meeting, and I was filled with a bunch of mixed emotions. Gratitude for the amazing work that Rosemary's done for decades here in town.
It's not that old.
Well, no, of course not.
Started when she was 2.
That's true. But I was filled with gratitude, filled with sorrow, knowing that you're going to be vacating and leaving big shoes to fill. And frankly, fear for Rocco. I was very, very scared for Rocco, but I know he's got a big smile on his face. And this is a well-deserved, I think, break for you for your years of service to this community. And I love hearing how much you've done. I love hearing your stories. from the Trump golf course stories to everything and anything in between. And I remember when I first started getting involved with the town, I got that look of yours when I introduced myself, and I think what you said was, "Who are you? Who are you? What are you doing here? Who are you?" And so we've come a bit of a ways, haven't we, Rosemary? But to echo the supervisors,
Proud of you.
thank you very much. Thank you. Well, to echo the supervisor's sentiments, just how appreciative we truly are.
Thank you.
All your great work, both my time before being here in Town Hall, during my time here in Town Hall, and of course now, always a great beacon for anyone who serves in public office, regardless of political party here in Yorktown. An incredible voice for the seniors of Yorktown, but I also know just how much you love this town. And it doesn't matter if you're a senior, it doesn't matter if you're, going to school here in town or anywhere in between. Your love for this community has been amazing, and I know it will always be amazing for as long as you continue to call Yorktown home, right?
Oh, we will.
Okay, I'm just making sure. I'm just testing you.
It's either Yorktown or Florence.
That's true. There you go. But I didn't want to let the day go by without coming by myself to say hello, congratulations, and thank you for your amazing work. Like the supervisor, I do have a proclamation on behalf of the New York State Assembly, just again reflecting on your incredible service to the community that you love, and the community that loves you too. So thank you for all you've done so much.
Without a frame.
Well, this is New York State. This is New York State. We spend money on other things. We don't spend money on things like roads or frames. So.
Roads or flames. Let me let's get that picture.
Give this to her person. I want to give her a big hug.
Yeah,
Jiminy.
one of my favorites. Yeah,
Congratulations.
anytime.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
Here, Ed, come back. Why don't you come back here and here? I'll hold this one. Ed will hold that one, or.
Am I okay back here? Is this all right?
I didn't get a hug yet either because I couldn't reach across the table.
My boy.
Here, why don't you get in the middle, Rose?
Yeah.
There we go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, dear. Thank you. Well, I didn't expect this, I could tell you that.
One other comment I'll make on town stuff for the seniors.
Okay.
And so I did have one thing that I actually do want to share, because by next month, who knows what will be running through my mind. We just had our first meeting of the year for our youth council. So it's ironic, senior council, youth council. But the youth council, some of the members there have been working on trying to do a breakfast with seniors, and a couple of other ideas that have come up. So we're going to talk to Noreen, that's what I was trying to remember. That's why I figured let me get it out now. And but the youth community is very interested in the stories of our seniors and the people that brought Yorktown to where it is. So stay tuned for some more details on that. I know they're looking at a couple different things, and I had some ideas, and I'm hoping that they really get through in this involvement. And there's no greater teacher than the people who brought us here, and I thank you all for that. And let's teach the ones we're going to leave it to a little bit of knowledge. So thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you very much.
Everyone enjoy the weekend. I unfortunately have to run to another appointment, and then we'll be taking care of some things. So take care.
Okay, thank you, Ed.
Thank you, Ed. Well, I leave you all in very good hands, although I will still be on the committee. I just won't chair it. That will be my friend here. What is your name? Jenny Benton.
Jenny Benton. That's me.
I'm kidding. There are a lot of people who have been very involved with this committee. Jim Moderano, who's standing back there, has been incredibly useful. Diana Quast, where is Diana? I can't see you.
I'm right
I
here.
can't see you over Serafina's coat. She is incredible. Joe Falcone, who's very, very helpful. And, of course, Noreen O'Driscoll, head of senior services. So this has always been a collaborative effort, but these people have really made it a lot easier. So I want to thank you. Thank you. Okay, Supervisor, would you like to give an update?
I think he did.
You did.
He did.
He has, that's right, okay. That was it?
That was it.
That was it, okay. What do we have next?
Deborah.
Deborah Petranchik, Manager of Cardiac Rehabilitation, New York Presbyterian,
Wendy's going to introduce her.
Hudson Valley Hospital, and Wendy will formally introduce you.
Hello.
Hi.
Happy New Year.
Thank you, same to you.
For all that don't know, I'm Wendy McNamara, Coordinator of Community Affairs at New York Presbyterian Hudson Valley Hospital. As always, I appreciate being invited by Rosemary and the board. On a personal note, Rosemary, I cannot thank you enough for the wonderful support you've always given us at New York Presbyterian Hudson Valley, and what a wonderful promoter you are for the many services we offer. And I'm so glad you'll still be here, and thank you for the incredible work you've done on behalf of the town.
Thank you.
Hi. New York Presbyterian Hudson Valley Hospital is your neighborhood hospital, serving the heart of the Hudson Valley community with specialties in cardiology, cancer care, digestive health, orthopedics, obstetrics, and gynecology. It is my pleasure to introduce my colleague, Deborah Petranchik. Debbie is an exercise physiologist and serves as manager of cardiac rehabilitation services at New York Presbyterian Hudson Valley Hospital. Debbie grew up in Kruger's, not so far away, and has been with Hudson Valley Hospital for over 15 years. She received her master's degree in exercise physiology from New York Medical College and an additional master's degree in arts and teaching of physical education from Manhattanville College. And now I'm happy to turn the mic over to Debbie to share tips for a healthier you in 2025.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy, for that lovely introduction. Thank you to the Advisory Council for inviting me to speak today about a really important topic to my heart. We always talk about New Year's resolutions, and what I've found over the years, especially with my patients, sometimes that word causes a lot of stress for people. You know, here's another thing I have to keep track of, here's another thing that I have to commit to, and sometimes it's just a little overwhelming. So I was having a conversation a week or so ago with a good friend of mine who has a 30-something-year-old daughter, and, you know, leave it to this generation to come up with a great idea. She was talking to her daughter, and her daughter said, you know, I'm not doing resolutions this year. This year I'm going to pick a focus, and I'm going to use that as my kind of mantra for the year, kind of guiding me, but I'm not going to stress out about having, you know, these things that I have to, you know, keep track of and cause stress for myself. So I'm going to talk today about, you know, things that we can do for a healthier you for the year with an eye on focus. So think of things that are meaningful to you, something that you have been thinking about, and I'm going to give you some examples in a few minutes, but just things that maybe you could do a little bit better, or something that you've wanted to try. So we're going to talk about that today in a few minutes here. So most importantly, to be successful, you want to pick a focus that's meaningful to you, something that really resonates with you. And it doesn't always have to be, you know, traditional ones like I'm going to exercise every day, I'm going to eat better every day. You know, those are, you know, typical ones. But we have some others that can also be equally as meaningful and will help you to a healthier you. One of the things that we've always said, and I really find that this is true, having a support system while you undertake something like this is really important. And that support system can look like different things. Can immediately think of, you know, family, friends. They can be a support system for you. Healthcare providers, even educators, people that are going to possibly be leading you down this journey are also good for a support system. So some tips for success, things that might help you accomplish some of these focus topics. You know, we said what gets measured gets managed. And what I mean by that is
keep a journal. You don't have to have a chart and do all these graphs. I've seen some of my patients come in, they're very technical oriented, and they've got graphs and all these pie charts, and you don't need that. Just jot a little note in your calendar, or if you like to journal, keep track in your journal. That can help because it keeps you on track, keeps you focused, and it also is something to look back on and reflect your success. And that's what this is all about, right? Success. How many people have set New Year's resolutions in the past? Raise your hand. New Year's resolutions, have you ever set them? No? Good for you. Would you say that sometimes it can be a little stressful when you set those? Yeah, right? Yeah. So focus this year. We're going to do a focus and just kind of work around a particular subject. Some of the things to also help you are plan for, I call them detours. Sometimes people say roadblocks. That to me sounds very negative. Think about detours. What happens if you're going along and you decide you don't like something that you've picked? Pick another one. Just detour around and keep going. Reward yourself. As you start down the journey of your focus, take a minute, reward your little successes, reward your big successes. And that can look like different things like, going out to dinner or taking an exercise class that you've been looking to take, going and getting a pretty new shirt at the mall, like spending time with a friend that you don't get to see. Those can be rewards that you can use that will help keep you going. So here we go. You ready for some tips? So the first tip is invest in your health. To me, that's the most important one, and that can be very broad. And I'll give you some examples of what I mean by that. See your healthcare provider regularly. It's so important that you have a relationship with your healthcare provider and see them on an annual basis. And make sure the wellness tests that are recommended for you, you schedule and attend as well. Follow healthcare providers' instructions. I can't tell you how many times I do intake interviews with new patients, and I'm going through their medical history, and I ask them, about medication. Oh, I don't take it that way. I take it this way, or I don't like how that makes me feel. So it's really important that you communicate that with your doctor so they can adjust things to make you successful, because that's what this is about, success. Schedule your next appointment before you leave the office. So I do that all the time. I get a skin check every year because I love the sun and I love the beach. And before I walk out that door, I'm making my appointment for the next year because you want to make sure you don't forget it and get it on your calendar. Complete recommended tests such as mammograms, colonoscopies, skin cancer screenings, whatever other tests or appointments your doctor recommends. Stick with those. Don't skip them because it's an inconvenience or you make other things a priority. You're the priority, and I always say if you're not well, you can't help other people. So your focus is a good idea to take on yourself. And manage and I'm not going to go into detail because I'm sure you've been beaten over the head with this one, but manage your risk factors for heart disease. So if you've got diabetes, hypertension, smoke or vape, have high cholesterol, physical inactivity, you have some weight to drop, you have a poor diet, you're drinking too much alcohol, you're using illicit drugs, or you have a lot of stress. Manage those situations. Reach out to your doctor or other specialists so that you can get some help with those, because those are really important to keep you healthy. This is another important one. Give your brain a workout. It's important to keep your brain active. Who likes to do Sudoku and crossword puzzles? Excellent. Those are really good to keep you sharp. The more you use your brain, the better it's going to work. Join a book club or a bridge club. Socialize often. Going to senior centers, participating in rec programs are absolutely a lifeline to keeping you moving, keeping your brain sharp. So look out. I'm sure they have catalogs and all kinds of things that they do. Sign up for a course at a senior center, at a college, or at a community continuing education program. They have all kinds of really neat stuff, things that you may never have thought that you would be interested in. Give it a try. What does it hurt? Learn a computer program, learn a new language. In fact, if you're an expert at something, teach a class. Volunteer your services to teach. And you can always find a new arts and crafts project. If you ever stop by some of these local arts and crafts stores, there's always a new gadget or activity out there that people are looking to do. Live in the moment. Sometimes that's hard when you have a million things to do, but try to live in the moment and be mindful about what you're doing at that moment. Have you ever seen, you walk down the street and all you see are people on their cell phones? Well, I was at Kohl's not that long ago, and as you're coming from the parking lot, there's a little stop sign, and then you have to walk across the walkway to get into the store. And I'm leaving, and this young man's coming, and he's on his phone, and I'm going, I know where this is going to end. Smacked right into the stop sign. I couldn't stop laughing. But the point is, be mindful, for safety, and because it keeps your brain sharp. Still laughing about that. It's easy to get sidetracked, so try to focus on the task at hand. Pay attention to what you're doing and enjoy what you're doing. Find the joy in it. Practice meditation, if anybody's ever tried that. Tai Chi, yoga, those are very good for the brain. And most importantly, spend less time on electronic devices. Your cell phones, your TVs, your internet, your tablets. Pay attention to mental health. Mental health, I don't think gets as much attention as it should. I think it's getting better. But if you feel sad or down, reach out. Reach out to your doctor. Reach out to a family member. There's hotlines that you can call. Don't travel it alone. There's help out there, and I would encourage you to seek that. Get enough sleep. Who doesn't get to sleep through the night? Just about everybody, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So make sure you try to get up at the same time every morning, even if you don't feel like it. Roll out of bed and at least get vertical. Establish a sleep routine at night and try to follow it. One of the things that they recommend is try not to eat a lot of sugar and caffeine before bed for 2 hours. Mm-hmm. They also suggest electronics. Stay away from those screens because the light tricks your brain into thinking it's daytime and it's hard to fall asleep. This one I said before, I'll mention it again because it can't be said enough. Quit smoking and vaping. Speak with your healthcare provider for assistance. And there's also a New York State Quit line, if you Google that, or speak to your doctor. They'll have information on that, and they can make a referral. It'll give you good information as well as some tools that will make it easy for you. I like this sentence. Toast with a smaller glass. So they're not saying don't.
Shot glass.
But then you'll have two.
I think they were thinking of wine. But alcohol, especially in the winter months, can make you sad. Everybody thinks it's a pick-me-up, but it actually is a depressant. So, smaller glass. It can interact with certain medications. It can increase your chance of falling. Falling, we're going to talk about that in a minute, is really important for prevention. So be aware of that, and speak with your healthcare professional if you think you need some assistance. Get active. So this is my specialty. If you haven't been active, speak to your doctor and get permission from your healthcare provider before you start an exercise program, just in case you have some considerations that need to be addressed, such as diabetes and things like that. Join a community exercise program. Join a beginner exercise class. Exercise with a buddy. Start slow and increase gently. I know with some people, they remember what it was like when they were, on the football team in high school, and they're going to go out there and they're going to run the circle and run the track, and, that's not a good idea. You want to start out very slow and work up so that you don't hurt yourself. And, these newfangled watches and phones, they all have heart rate monitors on them. That's something that's important to get. They're very inexpensive if you don't want to buy one of those technical ones. You can get just a little pulse ox at a grocery store or even Walmart carries them that will check your heart rate and your oxygen saturation. So that's important. Listen to your body. If you're tired, if you're in pain, slow down, stop what you're doing because that's your body trying to tell you something. carry a phone for safety, because if you start to have any kind of chest pain, lightheadedness, nausea, shortness of breath, leg pain, you want to make sure that you get help. Don't wait. Call 911 and get assistance. And dress for success. When you go outside, you don't need a big fancy exercise outfit, but make sure you have comfortable walking shoes, and make sure you wear clothes that are movable, that aren't tight and restrict your movement or restrict your blood flow. Guard against falls. So it's really important that you make your home safe. And there's many things that you can do. Most importantly, if you have area rugs, make sure that they're down to the floor, taped to the floor. If you don't have good lighting in hallways and stairs, make sure you put some good lighting up. If your healthcare provider has recommended a cane or a walker or a rollator, please use them. I have so many people that come into cardiac rehab and they don't have their walker. I'm like, where's your walker? I don't need that. I'm like, well, you do, and it would be a good idea to keep you from falling. If you are on oxygen, please wear it out of the house. So many people don't want to be seen wearing the oxygen, but unfortunately, if you don't have your oxygen on and you need it, you become lightheaded, you could fall. And always review your medications with your doctor, because sometimes the medications, your body changes, the medications might have to be tweaked, and that could keep you from falling and getting lightheaded. Eating is always, this controversial subject, what you should eat, to change the rules all the time. Mediterranean diet is the way to go. That's a lot of fresh fruits, vegetables, extra virgin olive oils. Meet with a nutritionist. I don't know, does the senior center have a nutritionist?
No. We have a nutritionist if you are signed up for our programs.
Great. So that's such a great tool if you take advantage of that. Choose fiber. Make sure that you are eating lean meats. Eat fish twice a week if you can. Servings of calcium, vitamin D rich foods like kale and spinach, things like that. And reduce salt. Salt is number one for a lot of different conditions. So just make sure, don't add any salt, and make sure the foods you're eating are lower in salt. And then finally, volunteer. Volunteer can really do a lot. It makes you feel good because you're helping. It gets you out of the house. You interact with people again. So local hospitals, schools, libraries, after-school programs, religious organizations, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, local government, fire department, ambulance corps. Get involved with a social issue near and dear to your heart. One of the things you hear about is bucket lists, but to me a bucket list sounds so final. Yeah. I prefer to call it a shopping list. So as things come through, you see different things, whether it's on the TV, social media, talk to people, friends. I keep a little list in my wallet of different things that I want to do one day. I can tell you 2 things that are not on them. I'm not jumping out of an airplane. Especially if there's nothing wrong with it, and I'm not bungee jumping. But there are many other things that you could do, whether it's to go visit Niagara Falls and see what that looks like, or rescue an animal, especially a senior animal. It's a little bit harder to place. So there's things out there that you could do that will make you feel good and get you moving, whether it's a big experience or a small experience. Add new experiences to the list as you complete them. So that's why I don't call it a bucket list. Because to me, a bucket list has a bottom and you finish it. No. As you finish one, you scratch it off, you add another one. You scratch that off, you add another one. So it's constantly evolving. Select safe activities, so no bungee jumping and no jumping out of airplanes. Nope. And invite family and friends to join you. You're more apt to do these things if you have someone with you, and it's a lot more fun. So in conclusion, whatever focus you select, remember to start small and keep it realistic. If you find the focus you selected isn't quite what you expected, pick a new one. Celebrate your successes. Thank you so much for allowing me to share some thoughts. Are there any questions?
I think that you should just talk a little bit as you have all the prevention, you have all the things you're supposed to do, mental, but I think just talk a little bit that if you do have a heart attack or a blockage, that it's not the end of the world. Because I think I've talked to a lot of elderly people that are very scared when that happens, and I've been through it. It's not that it's not a big deal. It's just that
Changes
life
your
after
life.
it.
yeah,
Changes your
there
life.
is life, and that you should just listen to your cardiac doctor and go to rehab with Debbie, which I have twice. It's really not a big deal, and it's not to worry or stress because it will get resolved. And also, I keep saying that silver sneakers are still at the gym at the mall. It's a 24-hour gym. Now they have 4 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, from 11 to almost 12. Let me tell you, I go in those classes twice a week. It is full, and they're all seniors, and there are lots of men that go. You don't have to worry about it, really. If you can't do all the exercise, you let it go slowly. They're very good to us. We have a lot of fun. So please think about that, exercise.
I really have to agree with you 100%. So many people, after we have an incident, oh, I'm okay, I'm not going to go to rehab.
You have to go.
Oh, I don't have the time to go to exercise. But coming from what has happened to me also, we've experienced it, not with certain things. Rehab is the most important thing you should not give up.
No.
Exercise also. I mean, I don't go right now, but I do exercises twice a day at home, and that's a priority for me. If there's anything else, this comes first, because it is so important. So don't belittle rehab. People don't, oh, I'm not going to go to rehab.
Right.
No, you go to rehab, you do your exercise, your life changes a little, but you meet so many different people along the way that it's almost starting a new life. So that's all I would like to say to it, but
Thank you.
it is so important, so important.
I'm going to leave, I know we have another speaker, so I'm going to be brief. I'm going to leave safety tips for seniors on the counter, because you spoke about that.
That's a great, can I take one?
Sure.
Rosemary, you have
And also,
something?
we have a lot of fun in Debbie's class. Don't we?
Yes.
Two questions.
Sure.
Number one is, how can you tell the difference between a major panic attack and a heart attack? So you don't call, you don't want to call the ambulance for a panic attack. And secondly, is it true that Silver Sneakers only accepts Medicare Advantage and not Medicare? And those are my two questions.
I have no idea what Silver Sneakers Medicare
Silver
accepts.
Sneakers, you don't even have to, you can do Silver Sneakers online. If you go to look up Google Silver Sneakers, it may be different programs, because usually it's Medicare Advantage, but for instance, I don't have Medicare Advantage, I have Medicare. You can join Silver Sneakers, at least the online programs, and I know I live in a different town, but I can go to some of the gyms there. So just Google Silver Sneakers, and it'll tell you all about the program, and you can sign up for it right there. You're welcome.
And the difference between a panic attack and a heart attack, sometimes you can't tell. And I always say better to get help. I used to teach CPR first aid. I'm a former retired EMT. And we would much rather have you call whether you think it's a panic attack or a heart attack, and get assessed medically from professionals than to not. Because we used to say, there's a poster they used to have that said, "Don't die of embarrassment." And I can't tell you how many times I went on a call and they're like, "Oh, I almost didn't call because I didn't want to get embarrassed if it wasn't a heart attack." Well, what are your alternatives? You don't call and then you have a bigger problem. So you can't sometimes tell until you get to the hospital. So I would encourage you to go. Contact, if you're not quite sure, call your doctor. If you can't get a hold of your doctor, get to the hospital.
Yeah.
Can you just take a very quick minute to say exactly what the cardiac rehab program is, like how long it lasts?
Sure.
Well, before we do that, Rosemary had a question. Maybe we'll finish with
Yes,
the question.
I don't have a question, I just have a comment.
Oh, sorry.
I heard, I don't remember where, yesterday or the day before on TV, they talked about food and diets. And they clearly said that the Mediterranean diet is the best. That the people in the Mediterranean, excuse me, live an average of 7 years longer than Americans do because of their diet, which is basically vegetable-based and fruit
And low fat.
and low-fat meats.
Right.
So that's what they were talking about on a show yesterday, yes. 7 years.
Excellent. Excellent. Cardiac rehab is a 36 session program. We meet at the hospital 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. You pick a class time that works best for you. That's your assigned time. And we will have you come in for an intake interview. We will review your medical history, your medications, your exercise history, any physical restrictions that you may have. And then we put together what's called an exercise prescription. That's basically a workout. It will have a warm-up. We'll have 4 or 5 machines, 5-minute cool down. And then once a week, we'll increase either the time or the workload, so we're constantly improving you and building you up. Once a month, we send a report to your cardiologist for their information, and sometimes more if necessary. Maybe you had a little incident. We're right there. You know, we've got the, and that's why they want you there. You're on a monitor. Someone's watching the monitor. Somebody's working on the floor, showing you how to use the machines and setting them for you. And if there's a problem, it's addressed immediately. So that's why they want you to exercise on a monitor, so that if there is a problem, it can be addressed, as opposed to being, you know, outside or perhaps at a gym. This is after an episode, by the way. In order to come to cardiac rehab, you need to have had a heart attack, a stent, bypass surgery, valve replacement, or a diagnosis of congestive heart failure. And that all needs to be within the last 6 to 12 months. After that, insurance doesn't consider it relevant because you've probably already done enough to get you to your level of ability. So that's it.
Good. Thank you so much. Okay. Okay, now we have another great speaker, Anna Waganowska. She's going to talk about older and wiser. That's our presentation. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much for having me. We have a lot of great information, and it's actually in many aspects it's very much connected. So yes, so my name, and I work for Westchester County Department of Public Works, and we have a tiny little section there that is focused solely on traffic safety. So we try to help people be safer in traffic, be it little kids that ride in car seats, children that wear helmets when they ride bicycles, distracted drivers, distracted walkers, all the way to the senior drivers. And that's our focus today. So at every age, it's important to be a safe driver, obviously, but then every age has challenges. So when you maybe remember when you first started driving, when we are teenagers, we get into that car and we are invincible. So, you know, we speed, we didn't have the option of seatbelts, but now teenagers are the ones who don't really care that much about seatbelts. So they have their own problems. We, as older drivers, don't generally have a problem with that. We are religious about buckling up. We are much less distracted. We are not on the phone so much as they are. So all those things, and we are more experienced, so that's in our favor. But unfortunately, our bodies change, as you might have noticed, and that could be a challenge for us as drivers. Now, eyes, for example, right? We could drive. All those lights could be shining at night, and that was okay. And now one car drives in the opposite direction, and it takes us a while to adjust because it's just our body gets slower at that. So, and we tend to have other eyes problems. So this is usually what comes up first when, like, what changes in our bodies. Eyesight is usually something that people notice. So the point of this little talk today is for us to be aware what typically changes as we get older, and so we can observe ourselves, and we can, in many ways, we can adapt, we can adjust, we can still be on the road and drive safer, just doing things maybe a little differently, but also it's good to realize that at some point it might be too stressful or too dangerous for us to be on the road. So we know, okay, what then? So the typical things, vision, right? So, okay, so if we know that this is typically an issue, so what do we do about it? So, of course, the first thing is we go and have regular checkups, right? And so, because sometimes things happen slowly, we may not even notice that our vision is deteriorated, and it could have impact on our driving. So definitely we have to stay on top of that. But little things like, say it's morning, you are driving right into the sunrise or sunset, and then you see how dirty your windshield is, right? So maybe a teenager might get away with that, but because we as seniors need all the help we can get, so a good strategy would be to really keep that windshield spotlessly clean.
That's simple enough.
Outside and inside, right? And, that could make a difference. Another thing is like little gadgets, little things. Because as we get older, for many of us, it gets harder to turn and see what's going on in that next lane. So maybe we could benefit for things that help with that. Like newer cars have all that technology that blinks, warns us that there is a car in the blind spot. So maybe with the next car, let's say, maybe we can try to take advantage of that, or we can add extra mirrors, tiny little mirrors that you can get at car dealerships and more at like auto parts stores that you can glue to the existing mirror. It's a little has a different shape on it, and you have to experiment with that. But some people say it really helps with the blind spot. Some people like to add a bigger mirror on top of the rear view mirror that gives you a better view. So there are so many options now, so many gadgets, so many things. So if we are aware that we have to be on the lookout for changes and look for creative solutions, so these are just examples of what we can do to help with that. Right? I could go into details, but I don't want to bore you. I could come back for a refresher at some point for specific things. Another thing, in addition to vision, is slower reaction time. Right? It's a process. We notice something, the brain processes it, and then we react to it. So it's a complicated process, and unfortunately, typically, it's not that it happens for everybody, but typically, as we get older, that changes. So here we go with that brain work that Debbie mentioned, right? All those, if we exercise our brain, it gets better. And it also, in addition to everything else, it also helps with driving. And another thing, like let's say it gets harder. Let's say you want to turn left, and it gets harder to judge. Okay, how fast is that other car going? So as we are in search of creative solutions, maybe it will be more comfortable if we don't turn at that particular intersection, but let's say we go 2 blocks further on when there is a green arrow, which is so much better. Some people even are so creative and that instead of going left somewhere, they go right and right and right around the block, and that puts them right. So creative solutions, right? Because nobody wants to give up driving if we don't have to. So before that happens, we observe, like, what gives me problems and how can I go about it? What what little things can I take advantage of to help me. Another thing, like we said, vision, we said reaction time, fitness. And I think, I mean, can I go with you, everyone? That's another thing, exercise. I don't, right, exercise. Driving is a physical activity, if you think about it, right? Pressing, I mean, less so with those newer cars, but still it's a physical activity, turning, okay. So anything that makes you fitter in general also makes you a better driver. And the number 4, which is really a biggie, is medication. Like as we get older, we get more and more on our list. And medications, unfortunately, have they have side effects, and the biggest of those are that they often make us drowsy, especially if you take more than one, and especially if you just start taking it before your body adjusts. So again, if this is your case, it's again a good idea to monitor yourself, and there are many different ways you can go about it, but mostly talk to your doctor. Maybe you can adjust the schedule, like take more in the evening and less in the morning. So when you are drowsy, you go to bed. Mm-hmm. Or maybe there is another one that also works, and for you it would work. I mean, different people react to different medications in a different way. So maybe a different one would help with that. And if it says on the bottle that, you know, don't operate heavy machinery or it makes you drowsy. A car is a heavy machinery. It's not, right? So if it says...
Don't drive it.
Yeah, don't drive it. So again, pay attention to that, because it could be... Like I'm sure there is more to be said about medications, but it's just an overview for us to know what to pay attention to, what could be a problem, and what we can do about it. And again, I normally talk about nutrition and stuff, but that was already covered. But it also makes your body function better in all general ways, and also makes you a better driver. So it's I was just nodding when you were talking, because it so overlaps. It's really
I think it's your responsibility actually as well.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So right, so that's the first part. Like, be aware that this is what typically changes. Observe your body and try to look, okay, what can I do to help with that and to stay safe when I'm out there on the road. On the other hand, typically, AAA does all kinds of studies, and one of the studies they did was that a typical person outlives his or her ability to drive safely by about 7 years. Doesn't happen to everybody, but that's what happens typically. So because we know that, it's good to take it into consideration that I might be one of those people. So if this happens, I need to have a plan. Like, if that happens to me, what do I do? Because we all need transportation. We need to go to places, not just doctor's appointment. We need to go for social things and hairdressers and all kinds of stuff. So first, how do we know, right? It's like sometimes you have this little voice that says, okay, maybe I'm not so... But there are like typical signs. Like there are moments when you feel really overwhelmed. You are driving and like so many things are happening, like lights change, people start crossing in front of you, there are other cars, they are honking at you maybe, there are all those... If it often happens that these things, like you feel like it's getting a little bit too much, so maybe it's time to think about not necessarily stopping immediately, but acknowledging it could be a possibility, and maybe just not going on busy roads, like try to find the back roads to get you where you are going, but all kinds of things. If there are dents in your car, if there are many near misses suddenly, oh, that was close, or you are driving, somebody's in the car and they kind of gasp. I'm just trying to be funny, but if people may tell you, but then they may not tell you. You may, right? They may not feel comfortable telling you. But so again, if these things happen, it might be something to think about. And when you think about it, owning a car is really expensive. Again, AAA, every year they calculate how much it costs to actually own a car, even without really driving it. So when you think about all those inspections, registration fees, insurance, right? I should have started with insurance, right? Which always seems to come up. Well, tire changes, oil changes, little things. But when you think about them, little repairs, little. If really, so they actually say it. I believe it's about 7,000 a year, parking, gas, all these things. That's not including financing. If you own your car, that's about 7,000 for a typical person. It may be a little less for you as you drive less, but that's if you have financing, or that's even more. So creative people say, okay, that's a lot of money, like 7,000. I could maybe, in my mind, allocate 7,000 for my transportation needs. So when I need to go somewhere, I call a taxi or I call Uber, and I take it out of this fund that I would spend on having a car and maybe not even using it that much. I mean, just an idea, one of my creative ideas. May be right for you, may not be right for you, but food for thought. Right? There are some buses. I know Yorktown is not like Yonkers, which has buses on every corner.
Not many here.
Not many, right. But again, you may be lucky enough to live in a distance. It's not just the bus, but you have to actually be able to walk to the bus stop, But again, if you are lucky enough to live somewhere when it's accessible, I think buses are great. I'm a European, so to the amusement of my coworkers, I took the bus to work for many, many, many years from Kruger's. Yeah. I mean, there is the 17th, which is an express bus. So, again, something. If you qualify medically, there is paratransit. I'm sure you heard about it. So again, that's fantastic. That would also take you to places. And there are 2. So far, volunteer driving organizations that you may or may not know about. One is, and of course, TRA, and the other is Ride Connect, right? So, what are they? Right. So we have put together a little brochure, which I noticed is in your rack there, so it's not something new. But all the information for those volunteer drivers services is right here in this little brochure that I'm going to pass around in a second. Again, it's good to know. You may not need it immediately, but it's a good reference, and they are. Of course, they are only as good as the number of volunteers that they have, but they are getting better, and I think it's a wonderful resource. You might have a van or a bus at the senior center that takes, I think you do, that takes you shopping and to some attractions and stuff. So why don't we take advantage of this? It's there, right? So it's a social occasion. You go with other people, and also it takes care of some kind of transportation need that you have. So the last thing I would like to mention, and because I really like it, if you are still driving, there is something that is called CarFit, CAR-Fit, and there is a website which says carfit.org. Ideally, in not in winter, in warmer months, it's a program that comes to a parking lot somewhere not too far from you, and an occupational therapist looks at a particular driver and a particular car and how well they fit together. Which is wonderful, because if you are like me, you get a car, like every 7 years, let's say, and you adjust stuff, and then you drive and drive and drive, and it never occurs to you that maybe your body changes, and you maybe need to adjust the mirror or this steering wheel. Who adjusts the steering wheel? And then we see people kind of driving like this, right? And not quite reaching pedals with their right? And they would recommend maybe to adjusting things in your car, but they could also recommend things you could buy, like a wedge cushion that you could put on your seat. And wedge is like you could put a pillow, but then your legs may not reach the pedals.
Have blocks for the brakes.
We did years ago.
That's what we did.
So there are all kinds of gadgets. We really have no idea that they exist, but an occupational therapist has heard this before, and they can adjust. They can recommend those extra mirrors, even something that you could put in when you open the door, there is a space in the door for a gadget that fits there, and you can actually lean on it to help you get in and out of the car.
That's a good thing.
There is a little gadget, like $8 gadget, that's a plastic extender that you attach to the seat belt, and instead of reaching for the seat belt, which might be hard, you only reach a little bit, grab this little thingy and pull it. So all kinds of things. So if you ever hear car feet advertised in your neighborhood in spring and summer and maybe fall, make an appointment. It's a free program, but you have to make an appointment, and they would just look at you and your car and give you some advice. So I don't know.
Gadgets be available in an auto store?
They would be, or online. They would probably tell you what's the best
You could
thing.
probably Google it and find it.
You might want to, if you know what it is. But I mean, these are the examples which you might like. Seatbelt extender, you could Google that. Or, I'm having a senior moment and can't think of the name of the other one. But my point is, there are so many, I can't keep up with them. But if you see that something could help you, probably somebody else had similar problem before, and probably there is some kind of attempt on a solution. So we could get open to it and investigate and try to find something that would help us and keep us on the road, but keep us on the road safely.
I like the comment you mentioned about medications, where some of them make you drowsy.
Yes.
During the spring and summer, I have allergies to pollen.
Oh,
so
yeah.
my allergist recommended I won't mention the name because it depends on the individual, but it made me very drowsy.
Yes.
So the next time I saw my doctor, I made an appointment right away, and he recommended one that was heading on drowsy.
And there you go.
It made a big difference, and I said, if I'm going to be driving, I cannot take that medication, and it proves your point.
You are so smart that you knew to do that. It's
I'm not
exactly.
going to drive
Yes.
feeling drowsy.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
not safe for me. It's not safe for people.
Exactly. And even things like antibiotics, you wouldn't think they makes you drowsy, but they may. And over-the-counter stuff, not necessarily something. So again, pay attention and try to address whatever.
Just one more comment also. I forgot where I saw this. I saw this on Channel 12, and I think it's like important for safety. I don't know if it was in Rockland. I don't want to quote the right place, but it showed people at a gas station filling up with gas, not locking their doors.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's important to mention, I was going to talk privately about, maybe this is a good arena to talk about, and someone coming in, getting in the car, stealing their car, and taking their car. So I think it's a good recommendation that people, when they do something like that, make sure when you're filling up your gas car, lock your doors. I don't know if they saw that too on Channel 12.
I heard about it, though.
Please make sure you lock your doors.
While you're filling up?
Yeah.
While you're filling up.
I don't fill
because
up,
if
so.
Oh, you don't? Oh, you have automatic
No,
fill-up.
she's got a husband.
As a driver.
She's got
Well, I don't have a wife or a girlfriend.
She's got her own driver.
Well, you could pull up to a gas.
Basically, I always make sure I do lock my doors. Anybody's watching.
Well, good point.
Well, you could pull up to a gas station that fills your car up.
Once they get in, if you, and make sure you turn your gas off, but you go. Yeah,
That's safety. Anything for
But
safety.
there's a few gas stations that will fill up for you. It might be a few cents more, or maybe. But to me, I don't
that's
even
good
look
to
at the
know.
price because it's for my safety. It's for my safety because I don't have a husband, so it's for my safety to have someone fill up my. I can't do it anymore.
All excellent points. So I'm going to walk around and give everybody a copy of this brochure. This is the older and wiser driver, so the kind of tips what we talked, so you have a refresher at home. And this is very old, but I really like it, this exercise flexibility fitness training. It's really like vintage, but it has simple exercises, like you sit, watch TV, and this is what you do.
have those?
Yes, so I'm going to walk around and give everybody a copy.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate you having me.
Okay. Jim, you have anything to tell us? Okay. Jim Moderano? Son of Jim Moderano.
Yes. I just want to thank you for your service to this town. And,
Pleasure working with you, believe me.
Pleasure's been all mine. So just really going to be missed.
I'll be
and
here bothering you still.
Good. You better. car-fit.org was the email. It was the website she was referring to, and there's a lot of videos on there for driver safety. So look that up as well. I just wanted to mention a few different things going on in town. AARP Tax Assistance is back. That's going to take place at the Albert A. Capellini Cultural Community Center, and you're going to have to book an appointment for those sessions. It starts on February 4th and runs through April 15th. And to make an appointment, you'll call 914-440-3710. Once again, that's 914-440-3710 if you need help with your taxes this season.
Could you tell me the dates on that again?
That's going to run from the 4th through April 15th. And it's only on Tuesdays from 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. But you do have to make an appointment. And that's also room 26.
Sorry. Is that also at the library or are we?
There is a separate program at the library, and you'd have to call them directly. To call the library, their number would be 914-245-5262. But I'm not certain on what times at the library.
Okay.
But speaking of the library, good transition. They have a great program coming up on February 19th, Living for Brain and Body with Alzheimer's Association. That's from 3 to 4 o'clock. So if you have Alzheimer's and you want, that is February 19th.
Excuse me. Can we? If we have to talk, we can go outside because we can't hear him. Thank you.
Yep. So that's February 19th from 3 to 4 o'clock. Once again, you can call the library if you want to sign up for that class. That's 914-245-5262. And that will help you with and improve different ways to help with mental health with Alzheimer's. So it's something that you should definitely look into. And also, the Westchester County is, speaking of health, they're doing the Health for Life program called HELP. That's a free program that's an online-based Zoom for diabetes self-management program. That you can call Mary Kay at the county at 914-813-6427. You would need access to a computer to sign up for those Zooms. Those classes run from 1 to 3:30, and they're on January 23rd, 30th, February 6th, and 13th. There's 4 more sessions left, 1 to 3:30, and that's Mary Kay with the county, 914-813-6427. and that's a free program to help manage chronic conditions.
Just do the dates again, please.
That is January 23rd, 30th, and February 6th and 13th, from 1 to 3:30 via Zoom. But Mary Kay will give you that Zoom link, and just if you can call her at that number. So I wanted to keep it brief, and that's kind of all the information I have for you this month.
Well, I have to say that you are such a big help. I really appreciate your efforts. So thank you. It's been a pleasure working with you.
Yes, and looking forward to future conversations and coming up with different fun projects that we can work on in the future.
I may have a couple in mind.
You always do. I'm looking forward to them.
Jim?
Yes.
A question I need to ask. The pool,
Pool registration?
yes. The, like I missed last year to reassign. So this year, if I just go, I just need to reassign, or I have to get another pass?
That's a good question. So if you have a pool pass from 2021 or more recent, that pass can easily just be, once you sign up, you'll be able to bring that pass and it will work at our facility. If your pass is from 2020 or later, that pass would not work and you would have to come in to get a new one. So you could sign up online if you'd like. You can call our office if you'd like, or you can come in. We are at the Albert A. Capellini Cultural Community Center. So you're going to want to stop by there if you do want a new pass, or maybe you lost your pass. But those signups won't be until April.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Anything else? Any other
Thank you.
questions?
I want to thank Anna also.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Can I do my thing too? Can I talk about those papers?
Okay.
Do you have Maureen or?
Yep.
either
Sure it's
one
okay?
of-
You sure it's okay?
Either one of these want to speak?
Rosemary, is it sure it's okay if I
Yeah,
go?
yeah.
Okay, just a couple quick things from the that we had come through our office. There is a program in New York State. Not all of us are eligible for EPIC, but it's a discount prescription card, New York State discount prescription card. I haven't tried it personally, although I did call the number, so it is legitimate. I have some up here. You just cut it out and take it. So that's one thing. The others are, there are webinars regarding financial strategies for retirement care and housing, Wednesday, February 12th. Again, the sheet is up here because you need to do it online, so there's the link to follow. They're up on the table here. And then there is another one on Medicaid on January 22nd. So, and these are from the Senior Law Collaborative in Westchester County.
Thank
That's
you.
it.
Thank
Done.
you. Noreen, you have anything you want to say?
Hi, everybody. I also would like to thank Rosemary for your guidance and your support for our programs. Thank you very much all through those years. Thank you, Rosemary. Rosemary's a big supporter of our Homebound program, if you heard her talk. So our Homebound program delivers meals Monday through Friday for those that are medically in need of a meal, for assistance with meals. You can call 914-962-7447 if that's you. It might be that you have surgery and you need help for a week, 2 weeks. We can accommodate that. It also might be that you need it permanently. That's also what we do. That is what we do. We also have a congregate program where you can come and socialize and meet people, and we have a lot of fun there. We're like a little family there. We had the pleasure of Jenny Menton joining us, Jenny Menton Grasso joining us, and
I had a good time.
yeah. Yeah, and we have great food there. We really do. And we also have a TIPS program, which is on Monday mornings. So the TIPS program is a telehealth intervention program for seniors, where a qualified technician comes in, takes your blood pressure, your weight, and it goes to a nurse, a certified nurse, who checks it. And if there's something wrong, they're going to get on the phone to you and chat with you. And if you need them to call your doctor, whatever it may be, your family, touch base with them to let them know that something's not right. If you have high blood pressure, I can't encourage you enough to come in every Monday. It's continual. They keep a record, and they also give you a record. So, again, that's at the Senior Center on Monday mornings between 9 and 11. And thanks. Have a great weekend. It's a long weekend. We're closed on Monday.
Thank you very much. There are a lot of great services in town. It's just that most of the seniors don't know about them. Jim, do you have anything you want to say now? No?
You just
Okay.
went already.
Very good.
Diana.
Oh, Diana, I'm sorry, Diana.
Well, first I want
to
to thank you for your many years of service to the town, and I thank you, on a personal note, I thank you for your friendship and your guidance. I really enjoy our conversations in my office, and I hope you'll still come in and do that. I wish you the best in all the future things you're going to do. You're traveling, more time, and your family. And I have a special text from the Westchester County Executive that I'm just going to read for you. And he says, please thank Rosemary for her years of dedication in leading the Senior Advisory Committee and all of the work that you've put in for Westchester County.
Thank you very much. Please give him, could you move your seat?
Sorry, this way?
Whatever way she just
Could
wants
you
to see
please give
Diana.
him my gratitude, my thanks? I've known him for a very long time.
Okay.
So I want him to know that.
And we should say that Rosemary was inducted into the Senior Hall of Fame in December
Right.
from Westchester County.
Westchester County. That's only for young people.
Well,
It's only for young people. I've had the pleasure of working on a number of boards in this town. Name a few, Conservation Board, Recycling Committee, as my husband says, too many. But I think we have an obligation to form the type of a town or place that we want to live. And we cannot just depend on elected officials, but we have to work towards that also. So that's always been my objective. I love the town. I can't think of any place I would want to live except in Florence, Italy, which I did for many years. So I will admit Yorktown does not have the architecture of Florence, Italy, but it's a great town to live in. So thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so we'll see you next month.
On Valentine's Day.
Pardon me?
On Valentine's Day.
On Valentine's Day,
On the 14th.
February 14th. Very good.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.